Welcome back to another episode of Tech Tip Tuesday for the Cleveland, Ohio Stake. In today's session, we are going to cover how you can actually access the media that are in our different gospel apps when you are not online. And this is a great tip for when you're traveling and you want to be able to access it and you don't have Wi-Fi access or you don't want to use your data plan. It's also a great tip for you to do before you actually have to go into a church house and actually present a video or something as part of a talk or a lesson. Because oftentimes we know that sometimes when there's so many people on the Wi-Fi network, it's hard to get good access and to be able to play those items. So this will be a great tip to ensure that you don't have any technical problems when you're going to do it. So what I'm going to do is talk about this and show you that in different apps on my iPad today. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to our Gospel Library app to start. So I'm going to launch that, and what you'll see is I actually already have a video up from President Eyring as part of Gathering the Family of God, and I can see that I've pulled this talk up, and there's a video enclosed. So there's a couple things that you can do when we have videos. If I were to click on the video itself, I can click on the play button, and we can see that I can play that video. Okay. Another thing you can do as you start to go through the talk, it gives us the option, if I'm able to click on it, we have options to be able to listen to just the audio. So I could download that and listen to it when I'm not online. And the really cool thing is that if I click it all the way to the bottom, you can see the audio button comes up, and that's where I could just play the audio. So I don't have to watch the video, but I just want to hear it. Takes up a little less bandwidth. But I can't actually do that if I did not have my Wi-Fi connected, because this particular iPad does not have a data plan. So there's two ways I can do it. If I wanted to listen to the audio, and I've pulled that up, again, to get that to come up, I could just take it all the way to the top of the screen. It pulls up the audio button, and I can play here, but one of the things you see over in the left bottom corner is an arrow down with a line through it. So I could actually click on that, and now you'll see a circle that fills up pretty quickly. That's downloaded now the audio. So even if I were to go out into my car right now and get on the road and my family wanted to listen to that talk audio, if I came back to this talk, I now have that actual audio file on my device and I could play this, whether I was on Wi-Fi or not. Now, if I close the audio portion, you have the same option for the video portion. And if you look in the upper right-hand corner, it's very, very faint, but you'll see in orange a down arrow into a line. And so that's kind of a symbol to let me know I can download it. So you can do the same thing with the video. So I could click on that. It might take a little bit longer because it's a big media file, but you can see my empty circle is starting to fill, which means it's starting to download that video. So anywhere inside of the Gospel Library app where you have media like this, you'll have the option with that down arrow and a line to download that media to your device. So if I were using this video in a talk for, let's say, Relief Society on Sunday, I would probably choose to download that first. That way, when I went to play this video for my lesson on Sunday, I will not have any technical issues if there's Wi-Fi problems or if everybody's on and I can't, they're accessing things and I can't really get to it, because now it's on my device and it doesn't rely on the internet in order to play that. So that's a really, really good tip. So I'm actually going to go back the top of my screen and go to my library. That was a general conference talk. So I just want you to keep in mind that anywhere you have that, anywhere we have like the videos, if I were to click on the videos and maybe go to Mormon messages, and I could click on any of the Mormon messages, again, we're going to have the same thing. Now on this Mormon message of Father Indeed, you can see I actually have a trash can there and not the down arrow. The reason I do is because I've already downloaded this video before. So this video too, I could play when I was not on the internet. Now, maybe I've watched this one a couple times and I don't need to have that downloaded and I want to free up some space on my device. I could simply click on the trash can and say, just remove it. And what it's telling me is you can remove it and I'm still able to stream it, which means I can see it when I'm online, but I can't see it when I'm offline. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and remove that video, and that's that's okay. I can still play it when I'm online, but now it's freed up some space. So again, in the Gospel Library app, when I see that down arrow, I could choose to download that, and then I have access when I'm not online. Okay, so I'm going to kind of show us this scenario in another app. Our great new app from the church is this LDSMedia app. And this has all of that media, and it gives us those great functions that we showed in a previous session to where, and I actually had this video pulled up the other day, to where we could actually create playlists down here in the center of conference talks that we like, or if I had to give a talk, or my items for a Sunday school lesson or for young women's lesson. So any of those, like if I were to come into these conference talks that I wanted to watch, we can see here that we have these conference talks and we have them available. And if I click the three dots, I can see that I can get rid of them, I can add media, I can do whatever I need to. So that's my playlist, and I have those talks. But maybe I want to, again, be able to watch things when I'm not online. So I'm going to go back to my Browse button. And let's say I go into the video section and broadcast and live events. And so we'll just go into wherever we need to be. So general conference, and maybe I wanted to come into the April 2017 general conference in a Saturday afternoon session. So again, I could either search for a specific talk that I want, or I could go browse and look for what I'm looking for. And so if I were to come down and I wanted to see the great talk from Elder Holland on the song sung and being part of the choir, I could click on that. And what you can see here is there's two options here. So one option is to send this out, so it's the arrow leaving the box, and I could mail it to somebody and say, hey, you should go check out this talk, or take it in a different app. But the other option that's going to allow it to be on my device so that I can watch it when I'm not on the internet is the cloud-based option with the arrow pointing down. That allows me to add it to one of my playlists. And remember, we did this in a previous session. We created these playlists in the app. If I needed to create a new one, I could click the plus symbol, title it, and put it in there. I already have a conference April 2017 playlist of talks that are like my favorite talks, or ones that I want to listen to again and take some more notes. So I could just click to put that in that playlist. And so now when I've put it in that playlist, you can see right now this gray from his talk is now turning in full color. So it's showing me visibly that it's actually downloading that talk to my device. So in the LDS Media Library app, the really cool thing is as soon as you add media, a song, a video, anything to a playlist, it's now downloading it to your device. So again, when I went to teach that class or bring up this particular video, I don't have to worry about my connection on the internet because it will have fully downloaded to my device for me to use that. Okay, so I can close out of this button. It's going to keep, if you look here on the right, it's going to keep doing its job for me. And so I could go to my library at the bottom and I could see the ones that I've downloaded already because they're in full color. So anything that's kind of grayed out is not all the way downloaded yet, but I can watch that progress, and it will happen in the background as long as I've got this app open. If I've marked anything as favorite, hey, there's my favorites. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's downloaded and I could play it. I can still watch it while it's on the internet. I've put a heart next to that particular video. See, I filled in that heart, so that means it's one of my favorites. But it doesn't necessarily mean I think these I have downloaded that I can view it offline. But I can see right here, these are all the ones that I've downloaded. They hop into my library. So I could look in my library, or I could go to my playlists, and then I could choose one of my playlists that I wanted to see, and there are those videos. And even in this screen, I can see that Elder Holland's videos, in the little snapshot thumbnail picture, it's still downloading. So because I'm online, I can watch it, but as soon as it gets into full color, that means it's fully downloaded and I can watch it when I'm not online. And as a reminder, in this app, we could go to, let's say, the Certain Women talk that was just fantastic by Sister Burton. And as a reminder, in this app, we actually can even come over to this button and trim the video. So if I just wanted a little snippet of something that she said in her talk, I could drag my cursor to the points where I wanted to start and finish that. And obviously I would find the right spot by playing this, but I could then play this and just use the part that I needed to get my point across for a talk that I'm referencing, or a lesson or something like that. But again, anytime I want to do that, when I'm looking for a particular video, I want to bring it up like I have with Elder Holland's talk, and I want to be able to add it to a playlist so then it downloads. And if I'm in this major screen and I have more than one that I want to do, what you can see here is in the upper right, there's a checkbox. And so I could actually click that checkbox and I could come through this list and I could say, oh, I want the language of the gospel, and I want, stand up and be all in. Or I could just click all of them if I wanted, right? And I could choose those particular items, so I can select multiple items at once. And then I could choose to download those or do anything I want to with them and add them to a playlist. So you can choose to select items as well. But those are some great tools to be able to know how to use these great videos and these media pieces that are available to us when we don't have access to the internet, and to avoid some of those issues that we might have with slow internet at some of our buildings if we have that issue. So those are some great tips. So manage your videos and your media by downloading them, and same the way we did in the Gospel Library app, like when you're done using it, I'm going to hop back into our LDS Media Library app. If I'm finished, for example, with a playlist and I've already given my talk, let me go back, and I've already given my talk or this Sunday school lesson and I've completed it, I can actually come up to this edit button in the upper left. I could select that playlist, and then you see in the upper right, I could choose to delete it because I no longer need that media all downloaded to my app. I'm finished that Sunday school lesson. I don't need all that anymore, and I could just click delete. It does not delete the videos and things off of my device. They're still there in the browse or search function to access, but I no longer have them downloaded, taking up space on my iPad, when sometimes space is pretty critical for us. So those are some great tips to let you use those media apps and have them work a little bit better for you. Thank you for joining us today for Tech Tip Tuesday. We hope that you will join us on Tuesdays and learn some more great tools for your church life.